What does it feel like, Tim Seymour?
It feels like every day we're getting one of these announcements.
It's insane.
It feels like if we had our whiteboard up and we drew our circles and we drew our lines, from OpenAI to Microsoft, but then NVIDIA over here, around to Oracle. I mean, this is what the street is doing. This is what the investor community is doing. And again, it's both sides. It's investors that are running and seemingly chasing. But it's also a Wall Street community. It's an analyst community that's coming up with new ways to make the multiples make sense. And there's no question that if you think, per gigawatt of demand by what? You shook your head like that when I said gigawatt, Brian.
Well, I just loved you. It made me happy.
Well, so each one of these per gigawatt opportunities apparently is double-digit billions of dollars, and you can probably map this out through 2032 or whatever. For AMD, I think just to speak more specifically about the validation for the 4150, for their core chip, for their platform, for the software that surrounds it is part of what I think this really is. So, I don't know whether you're supposed to rally this thing 30%. I have a position in AMD, and I did sell some upside calls today because the vol was extraordinary, and I didn't sell it far out. I sold it short term. It
feels to me, Guy, not in a bad way. And we're talking about OpenAI, which is private. It's not a stock. I get it. But you got the guy on stage. You got this sort of the big reveal. You got the App Store. Oh, and Johnny Ive. Man, it feels like Apple.
Maybe it is.
Maybe Apple 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
You know what? The gentleman that interview, unprecedented in terms of this type of investment. No, not really unprecedented. I mean, you go back 25 or so years, and actually there was a precedent for it. So let's not get crazy. The number's just a lot bigger now. All this circular stuff, it should be concerning. But you know what? You want to look past it. I get it. Jim Cramer made some very positive comments about it earlier today. I'll say this. AMD today traded 5 times normal volume. I think it traded 250 million shares. It traded up to the highs that we saw in February of 2024 and gave the majority of it back. That should be a little bit concerning. I think Tim was right to sell upside calls. It's probably not a bad place to take some money off the table in terms of a long.
Dan, are we buying? There's no question AI is real. It's going to change the world. It's amazing. We haven't even begun to think what's to come. But how much future earnings are we buying today?
Well, you've seen it's like you have to have X amount of hundreds of billions of dollars just to justify the spend of the CapEx that's been, in the last 3 years or so. And again, no one's going to be able to figure that out until we start seeing these revenue models and the monetization models. When I look at this AMD, to Guy's point, the opening tick of the day was the high of the day. The closing tick of the day was the low of the day. So it sold off basically 10% from those highs. To Guy's also point, that was literally to the penny, that opening tick of those prior all-time highs. Now, that's technical stuff. Who really cares? The one thing that I would focus on a little bit, and to your point, Sully, is like when you have this sort of announcement and you don't have a lot of visibility to when those revenues are going to be booked, when you think about the margin structure of this company, AMD, relative to that of NVIDIA, this is a company that's supposed to have gross margins of 52%. One of the big reasons why NVIDIA has been able to enjoy the multiple that it had before it started coming down was because it had a 70% plus margin. This is not something you usually see out of hardware businesses. So does AMD have a software that locks you into their platform? I'm not sure about that. The other thing for AMD, they really have to execute here. If they come out and they are not able to deliver a chip that is remotely close to what NVIDIA has been doing, and OpenAI maybe pulls back from that relationship, that's going to be a real problem for this company, and they have not executed particularly well. So when I think about these kind of second sources, we've been talking about competition coming for a very long time. It's here, and NVIDIA sold off 1% today from an all-time high. That's it.
I found this structure of this deal just fascinating, and I honestly don't fully get it. The idea that they would be giving away 10% of AMD to have the business of 6 gigawatts of OpenAI's business for the next 5 years. There's a lot that they haven't told us yet. If you look through the 8K, there's a lot of details that are really still out there we don't know. It seemed to me the idea that as AMD stock goes higher, then OpenAI can exercise the shares. So I don't know what to make of the whole thing. I find the reaction, $66 billion of market cap on a deal. You talked about tens of billions, I think was the quote, tens of billions per gigawatt. So let's say 20 billion per gigawatt. It's 120 billion, 66 billion on the stock today. I don't know what to make of the whole thing.